everyone. Thought we'd get a little bit of movement in. Don't know if your Christmas vacation has been very chaotic or very calm like mine, but a little movement is always good to get that blood flowing, right? So if you want to get into a nice, comfortable seated position, whether that means your legs are crossed or your legs are out, knees bent, whatever feels best for you. And then bringing your hands onto your knees or your thighs, resting them there, maybe palms down, palms up. Just allowing yourself to just come to your mat. Maybe closing your eyes or bringing a nice soft gaze. Feel the lengthening in your back. Almost like there's just this little thread coming out of your head, lifting you up. Back of your head parallel with your tailbone. And from here, just focus on your breath. Just a nice, natural breath. Letting all those thoughts, those to-do lists, everything that's going through our brain. Maybe we've got things to return, or this or that. There's always something. Allow that to just float away. Almost like it's just lifting to the clouds, floating away. Calming your mind. They're still there. You know you can acknowledge them. They'll wait for you. But for now, just feel your mind calm. Like the waves of the ocean, slowly, just not as harsh. They're still waves. Nice, gentle, rolling waves. And slowly keeping that focus on your breath. Deepening that breath. Bringing your thoughts inward, that focus inward. Feeling your breath, maybe as you inhale, counting to 4. Exhale, counting to 5 or 6, releasing all of that breath out of you. Inhale and exhale. This is the breath we want to maintain throughout each of the poses that we do today, throughout the entire practice. For each pose we go into, we want to be aware of the sensations that are occurring in our body, and remember that yoga is non-harming. So if you feel any twinge of pain, please come out of the pose, go into a variation of it, or just come into a resting pose. The most important thing, always, and I emphasize it probably every single practice, is to really listen to your body. Let it tell you what it doesn't like, because it will tell you. But just keeping that focus on your breath. And if thoughts try to intrude, that's okay. Acknowledge them. Let them go. And slowly opening your eyes if you have them closed. And from here, bring your arms to the outside of your body. As you inhale, lifting them up. Exhale, twist gently to the right, bringing your left hand to your right knee, your right hand back behind you, keeping that back straight. And inhale, lifting up again, coming to center. Exhale, this time bringing your right hand to your left knee, your left hand behind you. It's a nice, gentle twist. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, the center. Exhale to the right. This time maybe just going a little deeper twist. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the left. Again, just maybe a little bit deeper twist. Inhale to the center. And this time as you exhale, bring your hands behind you to the mat. Lifting the chest up to the ceiling, keeping that neck neutral. Just feeling that nice stretch. Maybe even if you want to lift your bottom off of the mat. Feeling a little more deeper stretch. And exhale, coming back down to the mat. Then bringing yourself to your knees into that tabletop position. You may want to have a blanket or something always protecting your knees. Your knees should be directly underneath your hips, your wrists underneath your shoulders, your back nice and neutral. And from here, slowly walk those hands out. We're coming into that melting heart position. Bringing them out further, bringing your head down to the mat. Taking a couple breaths here. Those nice full breaths. And then walking your hands back, come onto your forearms. Again, this time your elbow underneath your shoulders. Your palms down on the mat. And then slide your legs out, coming onto your stomach, into that Sphinx pose. And then maybe a little bit of a cat-cow version, where you just kind of arch your back as you exhale, bringing your head in. And then lifting your gaze up, coming into that Sphinx pose again. Gaze forward as you inhale. Exhale, arching that back, letting your head drop. And then lifting your head, coming back to Sphinx. Exhale. And inhale. Just a little bit different variation of cat-cow. And from here, bring your hands to the mat, about right about chest, right underneath your shoulders. And then lift yourself up and come into a plank position. So you can either come into this position here, remembering wrists underneath your shoulders, or if this is a little too much, let your knees come down to the mat. Take a couple breaths. And then lifting yourself up, lift your hips up, coming into that down dog. Your head will be between your biceps. Your hips lifting way up in the air. Your heels may not touch the mat, that's perfectly fine. And maybe alternating those feet, pushing back on the left heel, bending the right knee. And then pushing back on the right heel, bending the left knee. Call that walking the dog, maybe do that a couple times. And then pushing back on both heels. Lift that left leg into the air, keeping your hips facing forward. Bend that knee. Bring your gaze to the front of the mat and let that left foot come forward and rest right in between your hands. Move my blanket. Turn that back foot to about a 45-degree angle. Allow yourself to just feel grounded, feel stable. Lift yourself up into a warrior one. Bring your hands out wide, almost like you're trying to reach opposite walls. Take a look at your knee, making sure your knee does not go over your ankle, so it should go straight down. If it's slightly behind, that's fine. Arms out here. Now as you lift your arms up into the air, straighten that front leg. Inhale. Exhale, coming back down. Arms reaching out to opposite walls. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then bring your hands back, reaching behind you, interlacing those fingers. And then slowly letting yourself fold over that left leg into humble warrior. Making adjustments as you need to. Remembering to breathe. And slowly lifting up. This time turning that back foot, facing forward into a high lunge. So instead of that 45-degree angle, it's now facing the front of your mat. Lifting your arms up into a nice high crescent. Remembering your knee placement. And then slowly bringing your hands down. Slide that back foot forward so it's about maybe 2 feet difference from your front leg. Straighten that front leg. Bring your hands to your left thigh, bending at the hips, back parallel with the floor. Now you can keep it right here, or if you would like, slowly walk your hands down, bringing your belly to your legs. However far you want to go, keeping it up on your thigh. Maybe you want your hands on your shin. Take a few breaths. And then slide that back foot up to meet with the front foot into a forward fold. Bring your hands to your opposite elbows and let yourself just dangle here, releasing. Knees bent. Always have your knees bent. Belly to your thighs. And then slowly letting go of your elbows. Bring your hands to your shins, back parallel with the floor, half fold. And then forward fold one more time. Palms up. Let yourself rise up into a standing position. Arms up into the air. Allow your right hand to just fall beside you. Lean your left hand reaching over to the right. Feeling the opening on that left side. Next inhale, lift that right arm up, bringing yourself to center. This time allowing that left hand to just rest against your leg. Right arm reaching over to the left, this time opening up that entire right side. And then reach, inhale, bringing that left hand up. Bring that back, almost like you're trying to kind of do a little back bend. Reach behind you, lifting your chest, keeping your neck neutral. Tucking in your tailbone will help release any pressure on your lower back. And coming back to center, palms together. Exhale, bringing them to heart center. This time, one more breath, letting your arms come down and up again. And as you exhale, folding over into that forward fold. Hands to the mat. And this time, bringing that left foot back into that low lunge. That back foot about a 45-degree angle. And then when you feel grounded and stable, lifting yourself up into that warrior one. Hands reaching out, grabbing onto opposite walls, imaginary. Don't really do it. Checking your knee placement, making sure it's straight over that ankle. And as you inhale, lift your arms up, straighten that front leg. Exhale, back to arms reaching out. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. This time letting your hands fall, reaching behind you, interlace those fingers. And then slowly folding over that right leg into humble warrior. And lifting yourself back up. Turn that back foot facing forward, coming into that high lunge. Make whatever adjustments you need to so that you feel grounded and stable. Lift your arms up into a nice crescent. And release, coming back down, slowly slide that back foot forward. So it's probably a couple feet behind of space between that and the right foot. Straighten that front leg. Bring your hands to your right thigh, bending at the hip, back parallel with the floor. Again, you can stay right here. Or if you would like to go a little further, just walking those hands down your leg. However far you want to go, remembering to listen to your body. And then bending that knee, bring your hands to your mat and bring your feet back, bringing yourself into that high plank. Again, you can rest your knees onto the mat if that feels better. Checking your wrists, making sure they're underneath your shoulders. And from here, slowly lift yourself into that down dog position one more time. Lift your right leg into the air, hips facing forward. And releasing, coming back down. And just reaching those hips in the air. And then bringing your knees down to the mat. From here, you may want to grab onto a blanket again to protect your knees. Reach your left leg out, straightening it, pushing onto the balls of the feet. Stretching the back of that leg. And lifting it into the air. Holding it here, or if you'd like, lift your right arm into the air as well, balancing between that left hand and the right knee. Releasing, coming back to that tabletop. This time, straightening that right leg, pushing on the balls of your feet, stretching the back of that leg. if you'd like, lifting it into the air. You can hold this here, or you can lift that left hand into the air, balancing between the right hand and the left knee this time. Exhale, coming back to that tabletop. Bring your knees slightly wider than hip width apart. And let yourself just fold back, resting onto the back of the calves. And then letting your head come down to the mat, resting, releasing. Feel the release in your lower back. Taking a couple breaths here. And coming back into that tabletop, bringing your knees back into position. And this time letting yourself fold back again, this time over those calves in that position. So you're basically sitting on your calves from here. And this is called the hero position. You may still want to keep this blanket underneath your knees. From here, bring your arms again, reaching to opposite walls. And this time, as we inhale, we want to lift ourselves up onto our knees. So we want to lift our arms up straight in the air and come on our knees. Exhale, coming back to that hero, arms reaching up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, come down. Do this a couple more times, 3 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. One last time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, down. And releasing your arms. Now we can move this blanket and we can come on to our back. Lying on our back. Bring your feet close to your body, knees in the air. Releasing any tension in your shoulders, almost like your shoulders are just melting into the mat. Arms lying beside you, palms down. And from here, tilting that pelvis, lift yourself up one vertebrae at a time, coming into that bridge pose. Releasing one vertebrae at a time. Again, lifting up. This time, maybe coming up onto your tiptoes. Lifting a little higher. If you want to go a little higher, bring your hands underneath you, clasping them together. Remember those shoulders, pushing those shoulders out. And releasing your hands, bringing them beside you again, slowly lowering one vertebrae at a time. And bring your knees into your chest, giving yourself just a nice hug. Again, bringing your arms out wide like you're trying to reach opposite walls, letting them rest onto the floor, knees still in the air. Let your knees fold over to the left, letting them fall to the floor, or just maybe keeping them slightly in the air. Remembering this is your practice. Your body may or may not want to go all the way to the floor. Maybe your lower back is saying, I don't think so. Just let your feet rest onto the floor and have your knees maybe at a 45-degree angle. Keeping your gaze on the ceiling, or maybe you want to look over to the right. And then slowly lifting your knees back into the air. Bring your knees into your chest, wrapping your arms around them, and just rock back and forth, massaging that lower back. And when you're ready, bringing your arms out again to the floor, palms down, reaching towards opposite walls. This time, let your knees fall over to the right. And then your gaze maybe over to the left or up to the ceiling. And then slowly bringing your knees back to center. Wrapping your arms around them again, rocking back and forth, massaging that lower back. Anytime you do that type of twist when you're on your back, allow yourself a little bit of a break and massage it afterwards. From here, take your hands, wrapping them around your right knee. Let your left leg come down to the mat, resting. Pulling that knee into your chest. Feel that stretch. And then slowly bringing it to the outside of your body like you're trying to tuck it under your shoulder. Bring it back to center, releasing, letting it come down. Rest on the mat next to your other leg. Then bending that left knee, drawing it into your chest. Bring your hands around that knee, bringing it closer. And then slowly drawing it to the outside of your body like you're trying to tuck it under that shoulder. And then bringing it back to center, releasing, letting it come out to the mat. And from here, just get into position that allows you to take a few minutes. Maybe you want to bring your feet to the edge of your mat. Let your legs just dangle. Maybe resting your hands a little ways from your body, palms up. Whatever feels comfortable for you. You may even want to have a blanket kind of resting, lifting your head a little bit up. Take a few minutes now to just relax. Just honor your body, giving it a little bit of moment of relaxation and stillness. Bring your breath back to that nice natural breath. Maybe closing your eyes. And if the thoughts try to intrude on your moment, just kind of count your breaths. Inhaling. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling. Whatever helps you to just kind of give your mind something to focus on, or maybe bringing that imaginary thought floating to the clouds, watching it float away. Take some time to just relax and thank yourself for taking just a little bit of time to move. Feel a little more energy coming into your body. And for now, I'd like to thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you soon. Namaste.